everyone, my name is Kat and I'm going to be talking about my 365-day drawing challenge. I definitely would recommend it. It's how my art went from this to this in a year. I learned a lot along the way. It had its challenges and I missed about a dozen days, but I'm going to be going over some of the things I learned as well as techniques, tips to doing a challenge like this. But if you just want to see how the art changes, go ahead and scrub through. It is pretty ugly at first, I'm not gonna lie, so you will definitely see some huge changes along the way. Sorry if the pace is a little weird in this video. The images I really liked I paused on a little longer, and the quick sketches go by slightly fast. So one of my first suggestions is figure out how you're going to label all of your projects. So I made the mistake of labeling every file I did by the title of the file. So if I made a drawing called Cat, I'd call it Cat. Don't do that! Definitely do them by date. That way, if you do want to make a video like this to see how your progress changes, you can more easily edit it. That's one of the reasons it took so long for me to get this out. This next tip should sound a little obvious, but make sure you're keeping track of your days. So make sure you're not accidentally double labeling a day. I think at one point I accidentally labeled the date as the same thing and I didn't realize it until a month. Had to go back on my Instagram and rechange all the dates. Since you have 365 days to figure out how to improve your art, try some new techniques. I became obsessed with a white jelly pen. Definitely recommend them if you do traditional art. I would outline characters like this and I fell in love with the style. When you do a challenge like this, think about the reason why you want to do a challenge like this. So for me personally, the reason I decided to do a 365-day drawing challenge is I wanted to improve my art, but I wanted to improve my art because I want to tell a story through comics, and I also enjoy doing animated artwork. So I wanted to make something that I'm really proud of. A lot of the characters I draw are human in the story, so I focused a lot of my art on human characters. Since it's a comic, there's a couple times later I would draw little comics to figure out how to do that. So I did Spider Fae comics. I randomly created these two characters and I liked them, so I thought, hey, why not try and do a little test comic with them? So that was a little fun experience. I took a class studying comics after this challenge, and one of the things I learned is use all caps when you're doing speech bubbles. I did not do that here because I did not realize it, but looking back at all the comics I read now, especially on webtoons, all of the speech bubbles are in all caps. So do that. In case you're wondering, the program I'm using to draw the digital is Clip Studio Paint. 10 out of 10 would recommend it. I personally enjoy it a lot more than Photoshop. It doesn't have all of the same tools that Photoshop has, but it also has different tools that Photoshop does not have that I personally appreciate a lot more. So if you're looking to figure out what kind of drawing program, I would definitely recommend Clip Studio Paint. You can also use 3D models. So there's a couple drawings in here where I would either A, download, or B, make a 3D model and use that as reference, which, oh my gosh, life-changing. They even have built-in human models that you can throw in and pose them if you're struggling with how to pose. One of the things I struggled with when it came to digital art was shading. Shading is hard, and there's a lot of different techniques to it. So you can hard shade, soft shade. I ended up doing a mix of between once I figured out what my style was towards the end of this video. But when you're shading, some things you can do are multiply and add, and just change some of the layer settings in Clip Studio, Photoshop, Procreate, whatever you're using. Play around with layer settings to get the right shading. So to do that, what I would do is copy the character, completely color in the top layer of the character depending on what the background was. So if it's sunset, do a burnt red. If it's night, do a deep blue, and so on. Set it to multiply, lower the opacity, and start erasing more of the lighter areas, like wherever the moon or the sun is hitting them, that's where you would erase. Another layer setting I really like in Clip Studio Paint is Add Glow. It looks really good on skin and it makes everything just look so soft and so pretty. There were a few times that I counted animation as the art, which, yeah, you have to draw it in order to animate it. So if you have to count something like that, do it. If you're starting to feel a little burnt out, try taking on another drawing challenge to keep you motivated. There's a lot of drawing challenges out there, such as Inktober, Mermaid. Find something that entertains you. I did a monster challenge where every day I drew a new monster. That lasted me for a little while and it kept me motivated. Thus concludes the 365-day drawing challenge. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. If you're interested in seeing more of my art, you can find me on Instagram at arts&kats or anywhere else at arts&kats. Thanks for watching!